You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Do you need a car? Been shopping only to be turned down because of bad credit, low credit, no credit, bankruptcy, or divorce? Guess what? Today's your lucky day, because now you can buy a car, truck, or SUV, just about any vehicle. It's true. Bad credit doesn't matter. No credit doesn't matter. Bankruptcy or divorce, it just doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, your job is your ticket to your new vehicle. We're Auto Credit Express, and we've helped thousands of people just like you. Antonio H. told us, great company, got me connected, and the day I went in, I drove off in the car I wanted. 100% worth your time. Need a car? Get started now and drive off as early as today. Just text FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911 right now to get started. That's FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911. Auto financing the easy way. Text FINANCE to 357-911.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your healthcare? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their healthcare. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your healthcare, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your healthcare while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
One Nation Under Foo. I am your host, the glamorous, the fascinating, the non-confrontational, the Foo. And with me, as always, is your favorite Amish guy and mine, Orty. Orty, how are you, my friend?
I am sick of these monkey-fighting sharks in this Monday to Friday hurricane. The following program contains coarse language and mature themes, and parental discretion is advised.
Monkey fighting? No, I didn't.
Have you ever seen the TV edit of Snakes on the Plane?
Oh my God! You know what? No, I haven't even seen the movie, so I can't even say I've seen
the TV edit. They Samuel L. Jackson, who is known for his MF bombs, that was what they edited him to. The monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane. But I figured since we've got sharks getting sucked up in the hurricane, that would be
good times. Good times out here on the East Coast.
You left off two very important things. This show may also reference the BBC network and Bigfoot erotica.
No, it does not do that because I put a stop to all of that because I'm in charge. Not really, but it sounds like
you're really not.
I'm really not. I'm not in charge of anything. But no,
Are you all prepped for a heavy flow?
I hate you so much. You know what? I can't even be mean to you about it because my husband's been like, we got mad flow. You know, it's not good. They could not have named this hurricane a worse thing. Yeah. Here comes the flow. Yeah, it's bad. No, we actually, we were a little concerned a couple of days back, and I think I bought every gallon of available water in Virginia. I have like my whole guest room is full of packets of water, pallets of water. But now
kids are going to be taking bottled water to school for a very long time, aren't they?
We've actually talked about donating it once the storm has kind of passed. We're looking at ways to get it to North Carolina if we can. But that's how much water I have. It's ridiculous. But no, we were a little concerned, not being from this area and our first big hurricane, out in the water. And so I have as my daughter said, I have a shit ton of chicken noodle soup and things like that. I am prepped and ready to go. I am a prepper waiting to happen.
Is that a metric shit ton or an imperial shit ton?
I think it's an imperial shit ton. I'd have to ask my daughter, though. She'd know. But it sounds like it's dipping south, so we are, of course, worried about our brothers and sisters and friends and family to the south and the Carolinas and even into Georgia. So if you are in the path of this storm and you're listening to this show, when you're done, get out of Dodge. Don't be brave. Don't be tough. If they tell you to get out of your house, get out of your damn house. Your house.
Yeah, don't do what I do during wildfires and sit on my roof and watch them.
No, don't be stupid like the Amish guy. Get out. And I hate, I understand it's your house, and I get people wanting to protect their things, but your house can be replaced, but you cannot. So please, if they tell you to go, and I'm off my soapbox. But I had to say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I agree. Get out.
Get out. Don't tempt fate. This thing is nasty, and of course they're terrifying me. I'm paranoid anyway, and oh my God, Virginia's going to fall off the side of the country. It's like, great, thank you. I can't sleep, and I have anxiety anyway, so I appreciate that.
That's what I like about the West Coast and our earthquakes is that
Earthquakes.
you don't know it's coming. It hits, and you're alive or you're dead.
Your forest fires
And
and
that's it.
earthquakes.
Yeah,
and
forest fires or something. But the earthquakes, it happens and it's over. And it's like,
and
there's no anxiety. There's no build up to it. There's just,
I experienced
nothing or your life is over.
Earthquakes are bullshit. They are terrifying. And, we lived in California for a year, and I'll never do that again. But when we were there, I took my infant daughter at the time to sleep in the guest room because she couldn't settle down. And I just felt the bed start vibrating and it wouldn't stop. She slept through it, but it terrified me. It was the most powerless feeling I'd ever had. So you can keep your earthquakes. I'm all good with that.
I like them. I do. I mean, growing up on the side of a volcano, we had a lot of them.
Yes.
And so it was like anything less than a 4, I don't notice. It's like someone said, "Did you feel that earthquake?" I'll be like, "I'll have to go by the USGS website and go, huh?
I guess so.
I guess so.
Yeah. No. Yeah. We went through all kinds of blizzards and crazy thunderstorms being out in Wyoming. We've seen mountain snow of 3 feet, 4 feet. We've been out in it, but earthquake, this is a whole different beast, man. And there are people out here who have been through something. They're like, you got booze, you'll be fine. I'm like, okay. But now that it's dipped south, I can at least breathe. But they are telling us we could still have at least 4 to 6 inches of rain, which is still a shit ton of rain, as my daughter would say. Yeah. That's her new thing, shit ton. She's 13.
Well, Trump is to blame for it.
Oh, you know what it is? To him and climate change.
Yeah, he is complicit. And apparently, as G was talking about in the last hour, he can control the weather.
That was Bush. Remember, Bush had the weather machine.
Yeah.
That's what was happening. So the Republicans they break out that weather machine when they get back in the White House. So they can kill.
Up in Alaska. Yeah.
They can kill all the brown people. Did you see that woman? Oh, probably not. She's a rando. She was talking about how Trump would, of course, help people in Virginia and the Carolinas because we're all white, but he ignored Puerto Rico because they're brown. And I'm like, have you been to Virginia or the Carolinas? I am a white lady and I'm the minority out here, so you're full of shit. Sorry.
Well, here's the other thing. I don't know if you saw this. It was going around today. There was a photo taken, and FEMA confirmed that it's a real photo, and it is a runway in Puerto Rico. A full runway with millions of bottles of water that didn't get distributed.
I saw that. Well, anything to own Trump. Hey, look what I did, guys. Oh, 3,000 of you died, but look what I did with Trump.
Right.
I made him look like the bad guy. But, people realized what they did was all about scoring political points, and they hurt their people to do it.
Well, they're starting to figure that out. It's starting to come. Yes, the mayor was doing it all for grandstanding.
She likes T-shirts and hats, doesn't she?
Yeah.
That whole thing pisses me off. This is not, Trump did not go out and form a hurricane. As much as we'd like to blame him for that, and it's not climate change, this is called hurricane season. The weather is changing. You have highs and lows, and they hit in the ocean, and you have moisture, and things blow up. That's normal. That's not anything to do with Trump. That's just Mother Nature. That's Earth.
Well, Puerto Rico is a good example of what happens when you let government act solely by itself.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody else could get in. Glenn Beck was talking about Mercury One and Nazarene Fund couldn't get into Puerto Rico because they didn't have the proper government paperwork. It's not like going to Texas or the Carolinas or anything with just a fleet of 18-wheelers full of water and blankets. It's there's a whole process. Even though they're American citizens, it's weird.
Yeah.
So that was completely handled by the government, and you see government efficiency in its purest form there.
Just go to DMV. That's government efficiency in its purest form. Holy crap. Although,
I think the DMV has actually killed more people than hurricanes in Puerto Rico have.
I got to be honest, man. The DMVs out here, and maybe it's just the one I went to, are stellar. They were awesome. And nobody was pissy or mean. I stood in line like 5 minutes and got my stuff done. It was amazing. I was shocked.
I missed that when I was in Nevada. I would go north of the state because rather than going into Vegas, I'd go up to like Pioche or Ely or something, and there would just be 2 women standing behind the counter waiting to help me, hand me my plates, take my picture, and I was on my merry.
Yeah, it was great. And there are places here where you can just go get plates. If all you need are plates, you can go to BFE, Virginia, and get plates. It's awesome. Just some guy, howdy, how you doing? You got your insurance? Here you go. Have a nice day. It's the best thing ever.
Right.
And they let you do it for like multiple years here, which is like in Wyoming, we could, 1 year and you get it. We have plates for like 4 years on our cars. And this is freaking awesome.
And nobody dies.
Nobody dies. It's a great thing, right?
I tried to get plates in San Diego. 3 people died waiting.
Oh my God.
They got in the line in 1972 and they were dead by the time I just stepped over their bodies. This was before I started moving them and stacking them like cordwood in the barn.
Uh-huh. So many people just dying with you there in San Diego. That's great. Yeah, fun times. It's kind of like Taco Bell.
The number one Mexican restaurant in America.
I can't believe that.
It's like Rick said. This is why we don't have direct democracy.
Oh my God, what is wrong with people? I mean, I like Taco Bell. I go to Taco Bell, but I've definitely had better Mexican food than Taco Bell. Now, are they saying it's the number one because it's like people go there more than other Mexican restaurants, or is it because people are saying it's the best Mexican food?
I don't know, Rick, you saw the story. What was the story behind that? You just hit us with it before the show.
What, the Taco Bell thing?
Yeah, is it because people love how it tastes, or because it's where people most go?
I think it has more to do with it's where people most go, and it's pure democracy. So just we go there all the time. We should just vote for that. It's pretty awesome. And I don't know. I ate there about a week ago, and I haven't felt right since.
Are you still hurting?
Pretty much.
Since the franchise wars in 2018, now all restaurants are Taco Bell.
We're all Taco Bell. We're going to Taco Bell. Oh my God, I love Demolition Man. Found the best movie.
I hope they never reboot that movie.
That movie was so well. Actually, it was prophetic because it was kind of a mix between prophetic and pathetic. But still,
I love it. But I love those dumb movies where it's like big tough guy walking around talking smack, fighting the evil. I mean, and villains were like really villains. You don't go, oh, Wesley's going to have a change of heart and be a nice guy. He's a schmuck the entire time. I love that movie. Total side note, sorry. But yeah, everybody likes to eat at Taco Bell apparently.
So the first time I figured out Demolition Man was prophetic, the Governator getting elected.
Yeah, that guy president.
That was hilarious. Yeah. Good times, good movies. They don't do that anymore. Now they're stupid. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, they're just they're just woke versions of 90s movies and 80s movies. So
they're just not entertaining at all, are they?
They are not.
They are not. Kind of like.
And here's my problem with Taco Bell is that in California there's a law that you can't use a swimming pool within 14 days of having diarrhea. That means you cannot eat. Yeah, yeah. Well, you that means you cannot eat Taco Bell and then go swimming for 2 weeks. It's worse than the whole don't eat for an hour or don't go swimming for an hour after you eat. That's a law in California.
That's crazy. I like how there's a phone ringing like we're important in the background. Yes, that's FOOBAR Studios reading right there, folks. It's the president on line 1. Oh, my God, that's funny. 14 days. So if you have diarrhea, you can't go swimming for 14 days.
Oh, come on. Everybody, there's no way that was the president's phone. The ringtone would have been, "It's huge! It's huge!"
How do they even know, though?
It's self-policing. I don't know. I mean,
God, how stupid. Oh my God!
They're trying to they're trying to do an end around on the Second Amendment now too. With okay, well, we won't limit guns. We're just going to make ammunition impossible to get. And I called this back when you and I were doing the show when we were here the first time. This is what they're going to try to do. They want to microstamp each bullet as it goes out the gun.
You remember Chris Rock has a whole bit he did about that. He did a whole bit about how you don't make guns too expensive. You don't make guns illegal. You make ammunition expensive. And then if you really want to kill somebody, you got to save up some money, and it's actually what he does is really funny. But of course, California is taking that as a law.
Yeah, no, that's what they're trying to do now. But yeah, 14 days after having a intestinal distress moment.
Oh my God, I'm so old. I would never get in the bath. I would never be able to go swimming again. Because you know what? You hit a certain age, forget it.
Yeah.
You know what? That's so dumb. California. Good times there where you live, dude. Really.
Well, it's the earthquakes. It shakes everybody's brains out.
Ooh, speaking of brains out, that's a good segue. Kathy Griffin.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Complaining about Norm Macdonald, how he has a Netflix show, and she couldn't get one because of Chelsea Handler and blah. No, it's just because you're not funny.
Yeah, you're not funny. Neither of them were funny.
My God. And well, Michelle Wolf lasted what was it, 8
3
weeks?
episodes, maybe. I don't know.
Oh my God.
No, but I mean, and Norm said that he's not going to do political. So what happens is they made him political.
Well, they wanted to make, because they know that Norm is he's kind of a libertarian. He's kind of conservative. He's been pretty outspoken, but he knows better. I think he's not stupid. And what it boils down to is, if you listen to him, he's not saying that the victims aren't victims. He's just saying, yeah, their lives are screwed, and they've also been victims of what they've done. He doesn't say the victims don't matter. He says Roseanne and Louis are victims themselves of what they did. And, they're making it out something like this Me Too moment for him, where he's like, well, screw the victims, the poor, the people who did it are the victims. And that's not what he was doing at all. Of course, then Jimmy Fallon disinvited him from the show.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's not even.
People were crying.
Oh,
producers were crying.
Are you kidding?
That's what Jimmy said. People were crying. My producers are crying. And you could just see Norm Macdonald's face, like, people are crying.
You're really?
A liar. Over this? Really?
That is so stupid. And if your people are that emotional about who's coming on your show, then you got the wrong people.
Yeah.
Get it together. I'm so tired of these.
They're just so soft.
Emotional.
They're so fucking
bitch-ass
babies.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I don't know.
The Dead Sea is the saltiest place on the planet, second only to your bitch ass.
Oh my God, it's so bad. It's like with everything with Kavanaugh, and I have a segue, but I still want to talk about Norm. Jimmy Kimmel's writer, her name is Beth Kalb. She's one of them, and she's probably one of the most outspoken and annoying on Twitter.
Oh God, I hate that broad.
And, yeah, well, she was saying basically that she doesn't like the future with Brett Kavanaugh because women will become baby machines. I'm like, they have made this guy the most powerful person in the entire world.
Between that and the whole Handmaid's Tale thing, I'm still. Where do I get my broodmare?
Oh my God, it's so bad. Everything you read, it is just catastrophic. And it'd be different if Brett was someone like a Donald Trump. Kavanaugh. It would be different if he was, or even a Pence, where he was very conservative, but he's not. He's like vanilla. He's the most moderate, in the middle guy. He has said repeatedly that Roe is not a law. He's not a huge gun guy. Trump could not have picked a more down the line guy, and they are acting like he is the devil.
We've talked about it the last couple of weeks. He's so boring.
He's a family guy. He's Catholic. He goes to school. He goes to church. He teaches. He's a judge.
He's a Jesuit. Those bastards.
He's put women to work. He's had full staff of only women, but then they say that's him being some kind of sexist too. There is no way that we can please these people. And what they've done, like Kamala Harris and them, deliberately using a doctored video to say he was trying to ban birth control.
Nice girl, but about as sharp as a sack of wet mice.
Go ahead. Thank you.
No, but that's even been debunked like 6 days ago, and Hillary's, Abuela is just getting around to it now.
Hillary. Oh my God, you guys, this is a fact. We must fight this. Hey, dum-dum. No, it's wrong. And what's so funny, and that's another talking point I had, believe it or not, was Facebook pissing off Think Progress because they use the Weekly Standard to fact check their article.
Yeah, let's get into that one after Kavanaugh, because that's a fun one.
That's what it reminds me of, and they're using the same talking with Hillary. It's the same thing. Well, this has been debunked dozens of times by even people who she would listen to, and she's still using that talking.
Well, I saw just before we got on the air that Justice Ginsburg was visiting George Washington Law, and
you were going to say she was visiting George Washington.
Yeah, well, she was nominated by George Washington.
That's right.
But she said when she was confirmed, it was truly bipartisan. It was about the qualifications in judicial philosophy. That way was right. This way is wrong. I wish I could wave a magic wand and go back to the way it was. Well, that was her quote.
She's a liar.
No, I honestly believe her on that. That she is not a fan of. Just because she's left, but she's of the left that Jimmy Carter. He was warning today, guys, don't go too far left. Yeah, and he's like, that ship has sailed, son.
Too late.
But no, she's a leftist, but she's
No, she needs to shut up. And here's why. Because when Kagan and, God, I'm going to forget her name. I always mispronounce it.
Sotomayor.
Thank you, Sotomayor or whatever. When Obama nominated them, Kagan hadn't even been a judge. Okay? This is all about politics with them. So for her to bitch now that this is political.
No requirement that they are a judge.
But the whole point is.
I could be a chief judge, or I could be a justice.
No, you can't. No, stop that.
It'd be one of the few jobs I haven't held.
That's terrifying. But the point is, if she's full of it, if she says she wants to go back to the way things were, because this was political under Obama and now it's political under Trump, it's just the way it is. There's nothing in this country that's not political. Name one thing.
Well, Norm Macdonald. I mean, they made that going full circle.
Look at you with the segue back. That was.
I know. But no, I think that she's seeing a trend where we're never going to get another progressive on the Supreme Court again if this keeps going the way it's going. Well, and I would have to agree with that.
She's not wrong.
She's not wrong because they're not going to take the blue wave as a tide pool.
They have destroyed themselves. All they had to do was not be insane because Trump is very unpopular. Sorry, guys, if you like him. There are a lot of people on the right who still don't like him. And they really had, and historically, when one party takes the White House, the other party typically in midterms does really well. This is reality. No, they've done such a horrible job. The Democrats have acted like such crazy maniacs, stabbing people, shooting people, having protests all the time, and then
shooting themselves.
Oh my God!
Did you see that?
No.
Las Vegas professor.
Oh, I did see that, but I didn't read it.
Mark Bird, 69, nice, was charged last month with discharging a gun within a prohibited structure, carrying a concealed weapon without a permit, and possessing a dangerous weapon on school property. He taped a $100 bill to the mirror in the bathroom along with the note that said, "For the janitor," and then shot himself in the arm with a .22. He said it was to protest Trump.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah, that was, I mean, okay, here's what pisses me off about that. That's going to be tabulated as a school shooting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's how they get that 400 school shootings a year is because of shit like that.
Oh, yeah, totally. So. That's a huge part of it. No, but, yeah, I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to shoot myself. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I showed him.
You didn't. You're the dumbass who shot himself, and Trump's still president. That's the whole thing. It's like everything they're trying to do to hurt him just backfires. It's like with Cory Booker last week. I know we talked about Spartacus. But, he really made an asshole of himself. And even the people on the left are like, damn, that was really stupid, man. And these are the people that we have conservatives saying, hey, we should vote for Democrats. Are you high?
Right. These are True Cons. This is what you're talking about here.
You want me to vote for
elect Cory Booker? Yeah. I'm Spartacus and Mrs. Willie Brown.
If you want to save the Republican Party, vote for Democrats, you are on crack. I am not going to do that. And I'm not a straight party voter. I never have been. I'll be honest. If there's somebody, I don't vote for Democrats, but I do vote for independents and libertarians because I get that. I don't vote for Democrats. I guess I'm kind of a lopsided party voter.
There hasn't been a Democrat that I've felt worth voting for a very long time. Not since like the 90s.
No, and I've been very honest. The first president I ever voted for was Bill Clinton. I mean, I was stupid and didn't know any better, and you shook my hand and told me I was pretty, so, that worked. Yeah, I got hit on by Bill Clinton in 1990.
Yeah, but who hasn't? Really.
He shook your hand and told you how pretty you were, too, right?
Did you have yourself test for STDs just from the handshake?
You know what? I'm still washing my hands to this day, Rick. But no, I did. I voted for him. And then I figured out that was stupid and how dumb that whole platform was. But, I was like, what was I in 92? I was 19. I didn't know any better. I was stupid. And he played the sax. He was totally cool,
I voted
he was
for
America's
Bush.
First black president.
He was the first black president. That's a good point. Good point. But no, they want us to vote for Democrats to save the Republican Party. Oh, my God.
I don't see the law, especially when they keep putting up Bolshevik Barbie and Cynthia Nixon and
Bolshevik Barbie.
and Rob O'Rourke. And,
oh, God. And Eric Swalwell is my favorite to make fun of right now because every time he gets on, he's a California representative, guys.
I know.
Well, some people don't know as much because they're not stupid and don't pay as much attention as we do. But Eric, every time he gets interviewed, he starts like rocking back and forth, and he kind of drools. He gets all freaked out.
He goes Rain Man.
He's ridiculous. And you know what? I understand you get nervous, but I'm like, dude, you got to stop going on TV. This is bad.
Yeah, but can you imagine if he makes it into Congress, though, how entertaining that? No, I don't even, never mind.
He scares me. But he's my favorite to make fun of, one of him. But these are the people that they want us to vote for, to show the Republicans, I don't know what. I'm sorry. And I saw an article that said that the GOP tax cuts were unpopular. And I'm just like, with who?
With who? Yeah.
I'm trying to figure that out. And they're like, well, Republicans are doubling down on their unpopular tax cuts. And these are like from Straight Line. These are like, this is not Vox or Slate or Salon. This is like AP, which is kind of the same thing anymore. Right. But I'm just like, where the hell are they getting this? I love my tax cut. Please make them permanent. Double down on that bitch. Give me another tax cut. I'm all about it.
I don't know. I don't have anywhere else to put the bodies.
Oh, I know. The net neutrality thing was bad enough, wasn't it? And we do the whole
especially there's 3 rounds of it.
Dude, this is not good. You're gonna have to get a bigger barn.
I'll get swinging the hammer.
But these are the same Democrats who are acting like it's a big deal. They're not going to vote for Kavanaugh. After reading all these documents, I've decided I can't support him. You dumbass! You said that before he was nominated. You weren't going to support him.
There's no way that you read 100,000 documents to begin with. And 2,
no, they're full of shit. They've been saying from the get-go.
I don't even know why they're putting it off till October. I really don't.
I mean, vote and be done with it because it's stupid. These people telling us, well, I just can't in good conscience support this guy who perjured himself, which he did not perjure himself. But how many times can we share that information with them, but they refuse to see it? Benjamin Witt, are you familiar with him?
No.
Benjamin was the hero of the resistance. He's an attorney. He does a law blog. He and I don't usually get along. And even he did a whole thread about how Brett Kavanaugh was a good guy. He wasn't a liar. He explained why it was stupid to think he'd perjure himself now when he had time to consider what happened, that the statute had the limit of statute over the limitations, whatever, had run out since the 2004 accusation. So if he really didn't want to be in trouble, he could have said, I misspoke, my bad. But he didn't. Right. Why would he lie now when he could be held accountable for it when it was not a big, the whole thread was actually really good. And Benjamin even said, I'm not going to be popular. People are going to be pissed off. People got so pissed off at Benjamin that he left Twitter. He left his account. His account is still there, but he's not interacting. He's only posting important event information or things that he's doing. He's stopped interacting, which is really sad because even if I don't always agree with him, he's a pretty smart guy.
Well, that goes back to kind of what Norm Macdonald was saying, too, in the fact that once the outrage culture, right or left, and usually it's the left. I mean, but, usually. Once that outrage culture machine gets fired up, you have to leave social media. You have to, like I talked about last week with Will Wheaton, he didn't condemn his buddy Chris Hardwick fast enough and hard enough. Hey, let's actually wait and see that this isn't just sour grapes from an ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's not good. You have to immediately condemn, and you have to keep saying it over and over and over again. Otherwise,
you're a bad person.
You're a bad person. You are the worst person ever. You are literally worse than Stahl Hitler.
Unless you're Montel Williams, you get away with whatever he wants because supposedly he is not a Republican, but he is a Republican. He's a convenient Republican. He's a cafeteria Republican is what he is. Oh, they call cafeteria Catholics. There's Catholic whatever because you pick and choose what you like. He picks and chooses what's convenient for him. With this whole Dana Loesch thing, and if you're on Twitter and you saw this, you saw him just absolutely be disgusting to her last night and her husband Chris. He called her a prostitute, which he's saying now he didn't.
Yeah, I saw that before we came on too. Yeah. That he's saying I never called her a prostitute. Well, you told Chris to get his wife off the street corner, and
what are you doing on a street corner if it's a woman? And you called her a prostitute. He called her trash. He accused her of being a failed actress, which is a totally debunked story that was started by the left. The things he said were just gross. But guess what? There's no mob after him, even though the right was furious with him. We're not trying to get him fired. We're not trying to take him off social media.
What's the right going to protest? Predatory payday loans?
Well, but here's the thing, too, is, okay, so the last time he did something stupid, I wrote about it, and I got threatened. I got harassed. I got told I was, I was getting through.
Oh, that's right. His manager.
His manager shit all over my timeline for like hours because I pointed out that he was being a dick to Cheryl Atkinson. He was being kind of sexist to Cheryl, right? Telling her to stop talking about things, that this isn't important, and trying to tell her how to talk.
Yeah.
So he does this with Dana, and another editor writes it, and not to play the woman card, but it's a male editor, not a peep. Not a damn peep from it.
Nope.
So tell me again that he's not playing some kind of weird game with conservative women.
When I come back with my new account tomorrow, I might have to point that out.
Don't get suspended pointing that shit out. Don't, because I know better with you. It's like, you know why he was so pissed at her was because of the Chris Pronto stuff. The Benghazi guy.
Yeah, right. Well, he made an ass of himself then, too.
Oh, he did, and she called him out for making an ass of himself. Chris, of course, got locked. I don't know if he's fully suspended. Maybe the chat knows. The last time I saw,
it was only a 12-hour timeout. Last I saw.
That's what I saw was a 12-hour. I didn't see a whole suspension, but who knows?
Dana said that he was still suspended now, at least
kind of,
earlier today. So
that's what I wasn't sure about. Was did they lock him and then lock him again, which they love to do? They lock you 12, they lock you 3 days, they lock you 7, then they suspend you indefinitely, because that's how they do things usually, unless you're evading suspension, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But she went after Montel for going after Pronto. And then basically Montel had a shit fit, and it was bad. It was so bad. And yeah, I just couldn't help but notice that. I write about him, and there's all kinds of threats of suing, and you're always so mean. I know you hate him. It was like all personal, and then someone else writes about it. Not a peep. So yeah.
Well, yeah.
Poor guy. I'm so mean. I'm confrontational.
You are confrontational.
I am confrontational. Isn't that a funny word, confrontational? I never thought of myself as confrontational.
I like the hot non-confrontational. I want to be non-confrontational.
But, I guess if you don't take any shit from people, does that make you confrontational?
Yes.
Doesn't consider herself confrontational, but runs around with a chainsaw.
I don't carry the chainsaw as much as I used to. I've really mellowed.
You should.
G will tell you how mean I used to be. I am not mean at all anymore.
You forget how long we've known each other.
I can't even
no one asked you
log in without getting suspended. So don't. I'm paying for the sins of the election. I really am.
You really are. You are the downtrodden. You are the oppressed. I have Twitter privilege,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You should point out. You should point out to Twitter that they're discriminating against you because you're one of only 2 Amish people on the internet, and they just suspended.
Right.
You should totally make a big deal about how they're oppressing your faith. That would be hilarious. But then people ask me, is he really Amish? I'm like, really? You think he's Amish? Look at his timeline. Oh, look, he just said something about jizz. You really think he's Amish?
Yeah, video games and porn are the pinnacle of...
Oh, look, he's talking about food and fast food, and he's talking about boobs or something. Yeah, he's Amish. Totally.
Just tell Twitter you went on Rumspringa and never came back.
Right. Speaking of boobs, did you see MSNBC? Republicans are bombarding the Democratic candidates with ads opposing them.
What?
MSNBC, they put it out a tweet. Republicans are, quote, bombarding Democrats with ads.
Holy shit.
That's called an election, you fucking twits.
Oh, the best word. You are angry. No, did you also see there was a panel that Susan Collins, of course, if you know Susan, she's Maine. Susan has a tendency to kind of waffle with being a Republican. I think she's a moderate. She probably is a moderate, leans even a little left socially. But
but for Canada South, that's actually pretty conservative.
Pretty conservative. I don't know that any more of a conservative could win Maine. But the resistance raised all this money, like nearly $1 million, to give her if she votes no against Kavanaugh, which sounds kind of like a bribe to me.
That is a bribe. That is the literal definition of a bribe.
Well, basically what's happened now is Susan's like, hey, you know what? Fuck off. I'm not going to take your money. I'm not telling you how I'm voting, but you're not going to bribe me and blah, blah, blah.
I drop an F-bomb so all of a sudden you feel like you can?
It's my show, man. I'm the F. I'll drop one. But basically, she told them screw off, and she's not taking their money. So then they accused her of being on the take from someone else, which is really funny.
Well, if you won't take our bribe, then you must be being bribed by somebody else.
See, they're like, well, who's really giving her money? They accused her of taking money from the mob. that really made me laugh. And of course, it was Russia and lobbyists and evil oil people or whatever. But apparently, her office and her staff are getting threatening calls. Threatened to hurt her, kill her, rape her staff, kill her staff. And basically, an MSNBC panel was like, "Oh, those aren't threats; those are just passionate Americans." I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
That's like the guy who went and shot up Scalise. He's just a passionate American voter.
The guy who stabbed the one Republican dude, he was just passionate. Yeah. No, they are animals and thugs, and they are bad people. You know, he won't take our money, so he must be taking someone else's money. No.
You know what I can't figure out? Well, okay. In Brazil,
that guy,
a presidential candidate gets stabbed in the gut.
Like on film.
On film. And you know what? And Brazil goes, you know what? We got to dial back our rhetoric. Yeah. This is getting out of control.
Yeah.
America, bring it. We need more.
They compared him to Trump.
Yeah, quoting Bill Murray and Where the Buffalo Roam playing Hunter S. Thompson, it just hasn't gotten weird enough for me.
It just hasn't. They basically said, was it Slate or was it Salon? God, I get them confused. They're basically the same crap.
They're the same thing.
But basically they said, hey, look, this guy's like Trump and someone stabbed him. What? This is Brazil. He's nothing like... Oh, my God. It's the guy is to blame for everything. And I'm really getting tired of defending him because I'm not crazy about him. But I'm even more tired of their shit. And so I'm kind of in a weird place.
It was like that 150-year-old Broadway actress that we interviewed, TMZ interviewed the other day.
Carol Cook or whatever?
Carol Cook is, where's John Wilkes Booth when you need him? You know.
And then she's like, oh, wait, they're going to get me for that, aren't they? Oh, you dumb bitch. Really? Her husband's like, he killed presidents. Hello?
Well, and here's just, is that he's sitting there chuckling in his death grimace so because he's older than, because she's told this joke before in the society. Because he's, wait for it. This is a good one. It's like, and I mean, I know she knew John Wilkes Booth personally.
Yeah, they probably hung out. He was
an actor.
But that's, we're so charmingly funny. We're going to talk about assassinating the Trump. Oh my God. Oh, it's so
but it's
dumb.
okay because it had the British accent, so it makes it cool.
Yeah, we're totally charming here. We're going to kill the president.
Right, in that snobbish northeastern.
These people.
8 generations of the family tree looking like a telephone pole.
Cousins marrying cousins. Yeah, I get it. No, dude, you want to talk about the Facebook Weekly Standard thing? Because otherwise,
that's.
I'm not even going to segue that. Because how do you segue? Well, I guess it's Weekly Standard and a telephone pole. I guess that kind of works.
Well, yeah, there's no segue into that. That is just
a good segue. I can see that segue.
Okay.
Yeah, it works. Go ahead.
Okay. No, it's. Okay. So Think Progress got fact checked on Facebook because the Weekly Standard called them out on something. They got fact checked by the Weekly Standard, and
Facebook used the Weekly Standard. Yeah.
So Think Progress is saying that Facebook is being manipulated by conservatives
because we're so powerful,
and Facebook is trying to push a conservative agenda. Apparently, Twitter and Google must be too by their own standards.
Oh my God!
But I mean,
no. The problem is that they've been accused and caught of leaning a certain direction in the Valley, and they're trying to be fair. And they think the Weekly Standard is probably the least divisive group they can find on the right. You're not going to ask Twitchy to do this. I mean, they're going to find somebody,
they were founded by a neocon.
They're going to find somebody they think will be kind of moderate on things to fact check things, and that's fine. I mean, they're trying, but, whatever.
What I love is that they're blasting Bill Kristol, and he hasn't had shit to do with the Weekly Standard in, 5 or 10 years.
Yeah,
Bill Kristol has as much to do with the Weekly Standard as Michelle Malkin has to do with Twitchy.
Yeah, he's moved on, but they don't know that, and they honestly don't know Michelle doesn't own Twitchy still. They still go yelling at her when we do something that pisses them off, and she's like, hey, dummies, I don't own them anymore, bye, You think we're mean, talk to her. She'll knock your teeth out of your face. God love her.
She's confrontational.
Oh, I love her so much, though. I think she's adorable and hilarious and brilliant. But yeah, she is a little confrontational. She makes me look pleasant. But But yeah, I think that Facebook's trying. I think they've been caught. And it's kind of like the Google guy who the day after Trump won, he went on and complained that Trump doesn't go, Google doesn't like Trump and they're sad.
That video that got released.
Yeah. It's obvious there is a bias in Silicon Valley. There's a bias in social media. And, what they're doing
funny.
now.
The funny thing about that, though, is they're very libertarian in their business. When you talk to somebody in the Silicon Valley, they're very libertarian when it comes to business.
Money.
Yeah, and keep government away from us.
Keep it away.
God forbid you stomp on their ideology.
And you know what? My husband actually was part of that world for a while, and he will tell you that it's more important to allow those people to play those identity politics, to pretend they care more about issues than it is to get business done. And that is just how they're switching even more and more as it grows. And seeing that video from the guy at Google, it's a mess. And basically, I think Facebook is trying really hard to save face and say, hey, look, see, we even called Think Progress out. And Think Progress shit the bed. They could not believe it. How dare you fact check us? We are Think Progress. Oh, well, you're a liberal rag and you were wrong.
Right.
You should be fact checked. Just because you hate Trump doesn't mean we don't get to fact check you.
Yeah,
in fact, we should fact check you.
It doesn't mean you're right. It just means you're an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reality of what's going on, especially with this Kavanaugh thing. Yeah. That they push so hard just to pretend that Kavanaugh was trying to hurt birth control, because that is the whole big thing. They can't pretend that he's against Roe v. Wade because he said over and over again he's not. So now they're trying to make it that he is against birth control and that he is saying that he was talking about abortifacients or something and the morning after pill, but he was quoting somebody else. And this has been proven over and over again. And they keep pushing that talking point.
Well, because he's so boring. That's all that they have.
There's nothing to vote against. What was it? I can't remember her name. Cantwell, maybe. She was talking about how that Kavanaugh has even admitted that he supports restrictive voter legislation. I'm like, yeah, he supports voter ID. Oh, the monster,
right.
And that he said net neutrality isn't constitutional because it's not constitutional. You dumb. They don't like the Constitution. That's what they need to be honest about here. That's what.
And that was obvious with Kamala Harris saying, "Oh, in that little book of yours, with all the contempt she could possibly muster." Even
Obama said it was a barrier to what he wanted to do. The Constitution, it's supposed to be. That's how they wanted it. They don't want idiots like you screwing up the country.
Right.
And so, they just need to be honest and say, we really don't like what this country was founded on. We really don't like what the law is based on. We want to push our own agenda and our own ideas, and Kavanaugh won't let us. They just need to be honest.
Did that actually happen? Did Facebook suspend that kid?
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
The walk away kid? Because, okay.
Yeah, I saw that. My husband was sending me stuff he follows a lot of stuff on Reddit, which actually, I mean, there's some crazy shit on Reddit, but Reddit
is the comment section of every YouTube video.
It is stunning.
Without the entertainment of the video.
It is stunningly accurate, though, when it comes to certain news that breaks that you can't find. Because I'm like, I'm trying to find this story, and I'm like, that's really stupid. I'll search it on Twitter. I can't find it. It's on Reddit, and it's trending.
Well, and that's the one thing I'll give Reddit this, is that Reddit and 4chan outsources autism. So that way, if they want to find anything about anybody anywhere in the world and have it be accurate and true, put Reddit and 4chan on the case.
Reddit, I mean, there's some crazy stuff on Reddit, and I always end up laughing more than I end up reading. But they are the ones who are like the kid who was banned on Facebook. There was some army account, some military account. God, I can't remember what it was. They were also suspended on Facebook. So there is a lot of weird things going on in social media, and of course you're still suspended. Because I'm
going to say I was offered a very large sock account today, and I'm very honored. I'm not going to take it because that's already his own brand. So I'm going with a different sock when I come back. But I was very honored and touched that they offered up the sock. This was a big sock. It was like a 2,500 follower sock.
A big sock.
Yeah. So it was a big stained sock.
Okay. No, yuck. We didn't have to go there. No, time out. No, just a big sock was good enough. Thank you.
Talking about Reddit and 4chan, though.
Yeah.
Did you see Brian Settler's little tweet today that completely lacks self-awareness and its obviousness with reliance on unnamed sources is growing while trust in the media is shrinking?
What?
Process that for a second. The media's reliance on unnamed sources is growing.
Yeah.
But trust in the media is shrinking. Why do you think? Do you see some casual correlation between those two?
It's kind of like if you ever read The Hill on Twitter. I'm sorry if you do. Their headlines are awful. It's always like conservative thrashes Trump, and of course it's Jennifer Rubin or Max Boot or something. But they don't put the name in the headline because they know you're like, oh look, Jennifer's bitching about Trump again. Pass. And then they always have these great stories, about how the White House aides are like, Trump is losing his mind, but it's always some nameless, faceless White House aide that doesn't really exist. So, yeah, I mean, Brian has a good point, but he doesn't really see talking about himself.
Well, that's the thing, is that he lacks self-awareness. He can't imagine why trust in the media is shrinking while his show, Reliable Sources, is using unnamed sources. They're not that, I mean, they may be, you may know this person, but it's like last week with that WAPO op-ed or the New York Times op-ed where, okay, anonymous op-ed, that person better be cabinet level, because if it's
not
just if it's a deputy secretary of like the Department of Agriculture or something,
it's nobody.
Yeah.
And even God, Pal Mary. What is Pal Mary's first? Anyway, Pal Mary was Jennifer, maybe. She was Hillary Clinton's campaign communications director. Even she says, like, you know what, I'm familiar with these kind of stories, and usually it's some low-level second-in-command secretary, deputy, junior assistant or something that nobody even knows exists.
Right.
So even when you have Hillary people going, yeah, this isn't a big deal, it's not a big deal.
Right.
There's
a meme in chat with Florence Henderson heading towards the East Coast.
Oh my God, that reminds me. Have you seen? Okay, so doing hurricane graphics, I'm sure is not always easy, but there are so many penis looking. Like there's one, Chris Kinder on Twitter just shared it, and it literally looks like a penis is impaling the country, and it's so bad. And I realized that they're trying to show that there's a cone involved with this thing, and
right?
How wide it is. But
didn't they pass it by a 12-year-old? Those are the kinds of things you got. But before you put it on your news,
it's like
or you
porno
put it on
hurricane.
Run it by a 12-year-old. If they snicker, then there's a chance that you might want to change your graphic.
Send it to Sam, and if she giggles, don't use it, because
right.
I'm going to put it into chat. It looks like a large penis, and it's hitting right into North Carolina.
Would you say it was a big black?
No, it's not black. It's pink, which is even funnier.
Okay.
It's so bad. All right, where am I?
Can you get that on Adam and Eve? No.
Okay, bad. I can't do this and talk at the same time. So you have to talk for a second because I can't multitask.
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to post this into the chat so people can see the giant penis.
Okay, so Orty, if you're going to mention Adam and Eve again, I actually am going to requisition that spot for the show. We might as well get paid for it.
Yeah, they might as well. I mean, for the segments where we're talking about Bigfoot erotica, and we probably should. That does look like a penis.
Actually, I'm not even being funny. And then there was another one where, I mean, it's funny as hell. It even has like a little mushroom. It's so bad. But then there's another one where the guy's talking, and it looks like this giant red penis, and he's got his hand around it, and the shot looks like it's so bad. I understand that they have to show how long and wide the storm is, but bad, people, so bad.
What is the girth of the storm?
450 miles.
Rick, what is this you posted in chat with Paul McCartney and John Lennon?
They jerked off together. Didn't you see that?
Yeah, this explains the song "Come Together." I'm just saying.
Yeah,
sure.
No, like it's in McCartney's book that he and John Lennon had a session, I guess.
Okay.
A couple,
actually. Whatever. Free love.
Zero fucks given.
Whatever. Good for you guys. Yeah. Live a little. Do your thing.
I
no
don't
judging,
know.
I guess.
To me, it was
whatever.
a little creepy. Just saying. There were just some things I didn't need to know, which is why I decided I had to share.
TMI,
chat went after dark. This is like Misfits After Dark.
They're just always they're foul.
Y'all are naughty.
They are your people.
They are my
so,
people.
Hang on. This came across my feed. We got to talk about this. Male rapist who identifies as female transfers to women's jail and assaults females.
What could possibly go wrong? Who didn't? I mean, literally everybody could see that coming.
Yeah, Oh, stop. No, bad. No more. I could see that coming. Oh my God. I'm sorry. It's my fault.
I honestly don't think he meant it that way, but it was kind of funny.
It came out that way.
No, I'm going to blame Corderoyas because he started with the whole memes and chat, and then we just went.
Well, he's always bad. He's your people.
He's my people, and I love him. I love his priority memes.
Yeah, he is the one. Is it Corderoyas? I always say it wrong. But anyway, he always builds stuff about you being gone, and yeah, you owe him lunch sometime,
I do.
Whatever. Okay, I shouldn't have shared the penis in the chat because now.
No, you destroyed chat.
I'm sorry. I'm good at that. I destroyed it when I wasn't on the air a couple weeks back too.
Yeah.
But it does. I can't believe these graphics are so bad, and I know we shouldn't be laughing because it's a scary situation. But you see a giant penis impaling us in our front hole, and
in the front hole.
It's bad.
I forgot about the front hole thing.
The front hole. I'm being accommodating.
I'm conflicted though because this hurricane is named Florence, and yet never mind. Is it gender fluid?
It identifies as a Florence.
We made fun of the flow thing like at the beginning of the show, man. Where were you?
Well, yeah, no, but I'm just saying it just dawned on me that all these graphics look like penises, but it's named
and it's
Florence.
A bad flow. I know it's bad. Our heads go there, and people are like,
"It's all about inclusion in the first transgender hurricane."
Did you see that? There's a tweet out there where this guy does the clap emoji. He's like, stop gendering hurricanes, let them decide for themselves. I laughed for like 20 minutes. I'm so dumb that I laugh at stuff on Twitter.
That's something I would expect to see from Gideon Elfwick.
Good old, oh my God, there's another one. You should go see the penis one of this one. It's Chicago, and it's the guy holding it. Oh my God! Thank you, High Altitude. That was disturbing. Okay, we've lost control of the show again.
Yeah, I blame chat.
You put a couple penises in chat.
I blame Foo. She's the one dropping the penis graphics in the chat, and she's wondering how she lost control.
Yeah, I know. Rick, you got a big announcement?
Yeah, actually, starting not next week, but the week after, I will actually be doing an America Off the Rails at 10 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays. So it will be.
So you'll be following us, who is following G.
We have a night of kick-ass.
Yeah, and then we got Jess at 11. Wow.
So we actually have a. G likes to call it the Grand Slam of Talk Radio because there's like 4 of us back to back.
It's a murderer's row.
You should see this.
Are you kidding me right now? Persnickety?
Okay, if you're listening to the podcast later, go by KRN/chat, and because this will be here for a while.
My God.
And I feel bad for Jen tomorrow when she logs into the chat. She's going to see all this. Well, she runs Misfit Mischief, so she's used.
I'm crying. Oh my God! Did Dawn put that? Dawn did.
Yeah, that was Dawn.
You got to put that up on Twitter. The guy literally pushing the penis. Oh my God! Oh, it's over. It was such a good show too, but now it's just filth. So
you know what? I'm thinking it's about time to start running the outro. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think so too. Foo, where can people find you?
Oh, you're so funny. You can find me on Twitter at POLITIBUNNY, and I also write for this little site called Twitchy.com. And gosh, Orty, where can they find you?
They can find me as Orty Packard on Minds and the Road Beer on Minds. And coming back this week, it'll be a slow burn. Some of you will be able to figure it out. Some of you won't, but I'm going to be taking over Sock account in the next 24 hours, and I'll be back on Twitter.
Thank God. All right. I think that's it, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for making us laugh in the chat. And I guess we'll be back with you live next week, so keep your sense of humor and stay out of jail.
Cornbread!